Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to Astra, the daily current affairs. Today it is 11th of December 2023. Let's have a quick revision about what are the current affairs that we have in today's current affairs. Today in the front page, there were two news. One is regarding to the COP28 summit. Anyhow, COP28 summit is going to end tomorrow. The major details will be out by tomorrow evening, and day after tomorrow the newspaper will carry a clear article on that. So we will be discussing that on day after tomorrow. Speaking to the second thing, Chhattisgarh Chief Minister, the new Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh is Vishnu Dio Sai, who was anonymous person and who is RSS party worker and who has struggled for the party ever since his youth. So BJP has recognized his capabilities and they have accorded him the Chief Minister's position. So remember, the Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh is Vishnu Dio Sai. Next. After this, teachers should teach themselves. So this is speaking about how the education system in the country has to be, how teachers has to be upgraded with the skills and with the technology that is coming out in the world today, and how teachers should first learn before teaching to the students, and they have to get acquainted with the changing ecosystems of education. Then only they will be reliable for teaching, and they will be upgraded, and they will be guiding the students to their paths. This is what they said. So a very beautiful article that has come for the teachers. Obviously this can be helpful in the thing of education and how education has to be in the country. So Bhatti Vikramarka, the Deputy Chief Minister of Telangana, says that in the next 100 days, in Telangana, the Congress government is going to implement the other four schemes. We should be knowing that in the running to the or in the election campaign, Congress government has said that they are going to implement 6 schemes. 2 schemes were already implemented. The first scheme being Arogyasri maximum limit has extended to 10 lakh rupees, and the second one is free bus pass or free bus ride to the Telangana women inside the state or intrastate. Now there are 4 other schemes that they said that they are going to implement within the next 100 days. After this, you have in the editorial page, guys, directly going to this, Mr. C. Rangarajan and DK Srivastava has written a beautiful article today about calibrating the strategy for India's future growth. In this, they are saying how India can achieve its growth. A very extremely important article that everyone has to read. What is the summary of the message, or what is the summary of this article? Recently, Reserve Bank of India has said that India's growth is going to be somewhere around 7%. In the latest MPC committee meeting, it has said it. However, if you look at the World Bank estimates and the IMF estimates, they have estimated India's growth story to be at 6.3% this financial year. What Mr. Rangarajan and Mr. Srivastava says is India's growth story in the financial year 2024 can be around 7%, because in the first quarter and second quarter of this financial year, the growth rate was 7.8% and 7.6% of GDP respectively. As a result, in this financial year, the growth rate may be somewhere around 7%. And recently, IMF has also said that the medium-term growth prospects of the country by the financial year 2029 shall be somewhere around 6.3%, and these people are very optimistic in it. And if these people are telling that you can cross the 6.3% and somewhere around 7 to 7.5%, India can attain the growth if it focuses on the following. Hence, this article was written on what are the things that Government of India has to focus on in its policy making in order to reach the growth objective to be at 7%. The first thing that he says is export oriented growth can never be possible, or can never be a dependency for India, because if you look at the global economic position today, at the global level there is deglobalization which is happening on, and there is inflation across the countries, and further the geopolitical conflicts such as Russia-Ukraine war, the Israel-Hamas war, as well as the sanctions that USA has kept on many countries like Iran, USA, Russia. USA has kept on Russia and Palestine. These things are causing some trouble to the developed countries or to the developing countries across the world. As a result, export-oriented growth cannot be possible in the upcoming years. Hence, India should rely on the domestic factors such as consumption expenditure, investments made by the government and private players, as well as the government spending. After speaking it, he has clearly mentioned about a SWIFT agreement. What is SWIFT? This is important for our prelims. Have a look at what is SWIFT. SWIFT is an international treaty that is available Society for Worldwide Interbank Operations, Financial Telecommunication. It is a messaging system between the banks and other financial institutions. This was developed by the so-called Z10 countries and European Central Bank and National Bank of Belgium. It is based in Belgium. These are important, guys, as far as SWIFT is concerned. Just remember them. So as India cannot depend on exports for its growth in the upcoming years, India should focus on domestic parameters. The first thing that they have to focus is on the investments or in the investments in the medium term. We all know that investments in an economy depends upon the saving culture of the country, because this is the savings that turn out to be the so-called fixed capital formations, and this fixed capital formations are going to depend or going to determine your investments. Hence, the government investment as well as the private investment is going to depend on gross fixed capital formation or the saving rates of the economy. Further, the authors clearly are mentioning that along with this savings, their incremental capital output ratio should be very less, because with the less incremental capital output ratio, there will be more growth. So India should focus on lessening this incremental capital output growth. Along with this, India should also focus on the so-called saving rates in the economy. So these are the two things that in this article he has explained. The next one that he has explained is consumption expenditure. You can increase the consumption expenditure of the public by providing employment. However, in the long term, the population of the country, that is 70% of the population, is going to be in the working age group, that is between 15 years to 64 years. As a result, Government of India has to provide them proper employment opportunity by focusing on their skills, by focusing on their education. However, the upcoming challenges for the working age population in India is going to be the so-called artificial intelligence, which is taking away the jobs, and the second one is non-farm agricultural sectors are showing a downward trend in employment that has to be increased. Subsequently, climate change is going to be a major threat for the conventional jobs in the country. So in the upcoming years, the consumption expenditure of the public is going to depend on the jobs and how these jobs are going to be created by the government by upgrading the skills of the people. So after this, the article is speaking about government should ensure that fiscal responsibility should be there. Fiscal responsibility by ensuring that fiscal deficit is somewhere around 6% of GDP, and debt to GDP ratio should not cross 60% as set by NK committee or FRBM committee recommendations. So if government is following these three strategies, then government can ensure in the future that the growth rate of the country is going to be somewhere around 7% to 7.5%, exceeding the expectations of IMF. So this is what the strategy that Mr. Rangarajan and DK Srivastava has said as far as India's future prospects are considered. Extremely important for our mains as well as for prelims. So there are some articles here. You have to just look at this article. Apart from that, there is one more economics article. This article is speaking about the recent RBI's decisions on the Monetary Policy Committee. Monetary Policy Committee has continued its repo operations at 6.5%, even continuously for the 10th month in a year, or to the so-called fifth bi-monthly policy. So in this context, RBI has clearly said that the growth rate of the country is going to be 7% in the upcoming years. Along with this, the RBI also said that the inflation is going to be high in the food prices. When there is going to be inflation, obviously inflation might reach beyond 6%, which is somewhere around 4.8% today. So RBI's policy should have increased the interest rate, but by maintaining these low interest rates or the same interest rates, RBI is sending some dissonance messages, such as it may cross the inflation in the future, but we have to wait and watch how the inflation is going to be. But here there are two important things to be remembered for prelims. The first one is the reports given by RBI. The first report that RBI gives is Household Inflation Expectation Survey. This is the article, or this is the report that is given by RBI. The second report that RBI gives is Confidence Survey, Consumers Confidence Survey. These are the two reports which is given by RBI. Please remember, this will be useful for prelims. These two things. So this is speaking about Monetary Policy Committee. No need to remember this. Just remember, from May 2022 to February 2023. May 2022 to February 2023, the inflation points or inflation has been, the repo rate has been increased to 250 basis points. So after that, since February 2023 until December 2023, we have maintained a constant rate of 6.5%. This can be asked in prelims. So these are the things apart from MPC that you should remember. The next article is speaking about no more hot air, about air pollution. This is speaking about how air pollution is causing damage to the environment and how Government of India is not focusing much on the air pollution. As a result, the requirement is in the winter session of Parliament, Government of India has to focus on the air pollution that is happening in and adjacent to the National Capital Territory of Delhi. If you are interested, you can read it. Otherwise, there is no much information. With the information that we have in air pollution, we can manage an answer. Bad precedents. This is regarding to the so-called recently the Ethics Panel Committee report and the Lok Sabha members expulging Mahua Maitra on the Parliament. So it is a bad precedent Mahuwa Maitra's work that she has done by being inside the parliament and giving information to outsiders is something which is not expected and which is against the privileges of the parliamentary members. Hence, whatever the ethics committee that they have taken is absolutely a correct thing. However, she should have been given some chance for explanation inside the Lok Sabha in order to know why she has done these things. So this is speaking about that thing. If you are interested, you can read. Otherwise, that is not important. The hypocrisy of Western democracy, the root cause of Western complicity in Palestine operation lies in colonialism and imperialism. Now, this is speaking about how the Western democracy speaks. So, there is problem with the Western democracies itself, because when it comes to some other countries like Europe, they are criticizing Russia's invasion into Ukraine, but they are not maintaining the same posture when Israel is occupying the Palestinian positions or Palestinian geographical locations. In this context, the dual stand that is followed by the Western democratic countries like USA and Europe are highly critical, and this is why Western democracies are not getting due respect at the global south or in the global south countries. So this article speaks about this. If you are interested, you can read this. Otherwise, PSA students, this is extremely important article. Please have a look at it. Otherwise, for the general studies students, this is not important. These are the things that we have. The rest of the things are not that much important as far as this is considered. Switzerland, Norway ministers arriving for a dialogue on trade with India, the four-nation EFTA group of Nordic countries. So just remember, EFTA group is with 4 countries. What are those countries? The EFTA countries are Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, Switzerland. So EFTA agreement India is trying to make with this. And 21.15 lakh applicants are under Pradhan Mantri Vishwakarma scheme. What is the scheme, guys? Recently, Prime Minister Modi has announced this scheme. This scheme is under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. It was announced for upgrading the skills of artisans and craftsmen. How many craftsmen? The Vishwakarma schemes provide formal training for upgrading and modernization of traditional skills amid a changing economic landscape. So it offers financial assistance and creates employment avenues for market linkage for persons working under 18 trades and crafts. So for 18 trades and crafts, Vishwakarma scheme was launched, and for this an exercise or government budget of 13,000 crores is allocated. So this is another thing that is important. In the rest of the things, this is not that much important. You can conveniently neglect them. These are the articles that you have in today's Hindu. Thanks for joining. Have a great day.